Howdy, Eric here again, doing the face cam for once. Yeah, anyways, today we're gonna be doing a Bevy tutorial, basically just the basics. So I'll get right into it. Since it's October, and it's actually Halloween right now, we're gonna be doing, it's called Spooky, the folder we're in right now, as you can tell. I switched my distro to Fedora. It's been pretty nice. As you can see, my setup is basically LJ, so I can have the two terminals like this. And then I'm also using the Helix editor to edit my files and do all that fun stuff. And I actually don't need it to be so big, this one. This should just run stuff for me. So I'll actually go ahead and run it now and see what it says. It's gonna take a second since we just launched everything. So I'll go over what this code is doing. Basically, we're going to be doing a code review. I've got all this information from the documentation. I'll be linking it in the description below. So first things first, I'll go to main, because that's where all the program is happening. And it actually looks pretty simple, right? It's just one line. And it is pretty simple. It looks hard at first, and it was hard to me at first too, guys, but after everything was demystified, it wasn't too bad. It's actually very easy once you wrap your head around it. So this is probably going to be the hardest part at first, just looking at this plugin thing, so I'll try to explain that the best I can. Basically, this is just the syntax for it. You're going to have to do this. But once you once you realize that's what you're gonna have to do, it's really easy to get into the workflow. Like, you have to do the syntax, it's not really intuitive, but once you do it one time, you can do it forever, and it'll just work. So, the reason we're even doing this in the first place, you actually don't have to do all this stuff. You could do... I'll say more about that toward the end of the video, but you actually don't have to do all this stuff. It just makes it possible for you to do just one line of code in the main blog, which is really nice to decrease code complexity. So what happens in main is basically you're getting the app. Bevy spins up an app, and it happens pretty behind the scene, I guess. It loads the app, and then normally here you would do the add system stuff, and we'll go over the ECS nature of Bevy in a bit. But basically, you just add on top of the app, you add the systems you want, you add the plugins you want. Usually you want the default plugins, but here we're just doing the Hello plugin. It's basically just one we make. You can make your own plugins. And it just, one of the things it does is Hello World. That was, it's very basic, everyone can understand that. And I'll actually go to the code here, and I'll jump up to that. This stuff here you're going to need no matter what. You clear the plugin here, what the name of it you want it to be. Implement plugin for whatever your plugin name is. It's actually kind of intuitive. So I'll get to the first thing. So right here we have Hello World. Sorry, just finding my HJKL. This would be a lot nicer if I had screen keys, but it's not working on Fedora for whatever reason, so I'll have to get that figured out. Anyways, y'all know what Hello World is. This is actually a system. So I'll go over the entity component system real quick. Basically, all these are components, as you can see. Components are like the simplest type of information. Actually, no, entities are the simplest type of information you have. It's basically structs with just an integer as the ID. Components are all sorts of traits, basically, is what I like to call it. Like, a person could be a component, a dog could be a component. Age is a component, name is a component, all these different things that people can have. So how it differentiates from... how it's different from object-oriented programming languages is that if you're in an OOP language like Java, for instance, and you're trying to make a person, basically you have one big, large chunk of code which is trying to get the name, the age, and everything that comes with the person. But here in ECS systems, it's all about reusability and minimizing like the time you have to re-implement things you already made, basically. So person has a name, of course. So in object-oriented programming language, you do like person Eric has this name, but entity component system, a mutt, an animal can also have a name. It can also have an age. So you just give names and ages to all sorts of different entities, like a person or an animal, for instance, or a car or whatever. Cars don't have genders, but they do have ages. They do have names. They probably have makes, which is something a person might not have. So it's kind of like object-oriented programming language. You still consider all the traits and stuff, but it's just structured differently, and it emphasizes reusability. So these are the components here. Now I'll go over the system. Systems are just functions, basically. This hello world thing is a system, as you saw. This thing here is also a system, and I'll go over that in just 1 second. But first thing I want to touch on is actually in Bevy, you can see on the right here that I've actually the hello world came after the people, even though I greet people at the end. I'm supposed to say hello at the end. It happened after that, and that's because Bevy, you get parallelism for free. So hello world could happen before or after. The point is that it happens it executes all of these at the same time, and it doesn't do it sequentially. It makes the most of all your cores and stuff. So the whole point of ECS is to fragment your code more and more so that you get more parallelism and performance out of your code, and it does it for free. Basically, you don't have to think anything about it going into your code, because as you can see, I don't really do anything with parallelism or any of the complex stuff, and you get it for free, and it's data safe, which is one of the advantages of Rust, of course. If you do want it sequentially, you need consistency and stuff like that, you might have to make unsafe code and do a specific you explicitly sequence it, and you might get memory leaks and stuff like that, so I'd be careful about it. But if you don't need that kind of stuff, then yeah, this is all safe. Don't use any unsafe code here. So I'll get back into this system and what it does. Basically, this is where we spawn the entities using commands. So I would make an entity, it's a person, it has this name, that's my name, obviously. In case you guys don't know, I'm a guy, I'm 18, or actually I'm not 18, why did I put that? I'm 19. I just caught that, that's interesting. Why would I put 18? Alright, whatever. I'm actually older than I look. But yeah, I also said it, so, like I was saying, entities have IDs, and basically at the end here, I get the, okay, I just heard a Discord noise, and that kind of scared me, because I might actually be talking to them. Okay, thank God I'm not. Alright, because I'm actually in a waiting room queue for my class. Hopefully we have office hours. There's 4 other people waiting. They're probably not even going to be up at midnight, but who knows. Gotta be in that queue early. Anyways, that's a little bit of a detour of what's going on in my life. So basically this spawns an entity. It's got all these components or traits, and it has an ID. You actually don't need that technically. I could get rid of all that player 1 stuff, the ID stuff, and it still work, as you can see here. But it's pretty nice to have. Then here's another system. Oh, and since this system interacts with this system, you probably want this to happen before you query stuff that doesn't exist. So how you do that is you just put this startup keyword, add startup system, to load before all this fun stuff happens, because you got to keep that parallelism aspect in mind, or else it'll happen weirdly, and that wouldn't be very, very helpful for creating programs. So anyways, like I was saying, get that out of the way. In this one, you just query all the data you have. So how that works is you have the stuff you want, the components, and you have the filters. So you want the name and the gender from all the components with a person component, or all the entities with a person component. And then you can use that to go through the names and genders in that query that you just sent and utilize that information however you want to. And that's all that does, which is pretty simple. The syntax, like I said, so this is kind of like a pattern now. The syntax is kind of tricky to wrap your head around, but the idea of like what you're actually doing is like the syntax is just an obstacle that you got to get over. And then once you do get over it, you're going to have some of the best code. Like that's why I'm a Rustation, because it's just a nice language. It gives you errors and stuff, and it's pretty obvious about it, what you messed up with. So it's not even a problem with the syntax, really. As long as you just get it right, you'll get it right every time after that, because you know how to do it at that point, and you just do the same concepts over and over. So that's why I like Rust. It's pretty consistent, pretty explicit about what's going on. So yeah, I'll also clarify with the syntax here. This doesn't have to be a tuple, but it's actually throwing me like a thing here because I don't need it's giving me a warning because I don't need parentheses because this isn't a tuple anymore. It's just one argument. But you can have like multiple arguments. For instance, if I put if I want it to only query stuff with an age component, which is only me, it's not. So these people are my professors, by the way. I should probably clarify that. It's not just randoms. So if I want people with an age component only, and it shouldn't throw me that error anymore, so let me just cargo check that and then run it. And it should work in my estimation. Yep. The error's gone away. It's blocking now for whatever reason. Just to ensure there's no data erasers or anything like that. Kind of a hassle, but it's all worth it. Data erasers have killed people in the past, like the Dirac 25 device, so I'm all for data safety. That's why I'm a Rustation as well. It's one of the big things. I don't like people dying because they get irradiated with like 100 million watts or whatever. I don't know how that stuff works. It's for my upper level classes. So right now it's building, and we'll see that it's only going to query, or it's only going to show my name if it works right, because I'm the only one with the age component. I'm gonna insert the other traits there. I didn't give my professors because I don't know their age. Yeah, I didn't initialize it with their age. So let's see. Yep, it's just me now. So as you can see, that's how that works. It's a pretty powerful system. That's kind of the basics of the entity component system. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. We're going to be going over like, you know, how like systems can interact with each other and stuff like that through events, and we'll go more into detail with commands and stuff like that. And we'll probably use like the default plugins. Like there's actually proper plugins with like so Bevy is a game engine, so obviously you need like a UI and stuff like that for it to be a proper game. So we're not using any of that right now. We're just using whatever we make. So this is like a normal like terminal kind of thing, but we can take advantage of that in the future videos, and I will keep you guys up to date with all that going on. Once again, if you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to leave it in the comments. And happy Halloween. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.